So, welcome to this planting sowing video where I will be kind of sowing all kinds of kale. I'm gonna show you. I got a lot of different kale varieties. I will also probably sow one extra container of leek. So I have prepared all the containers. I will be using these Swedish candy jars that I get for free from supermarket throughout the year, that I just tend to pick up anytime I see that they are available. And I will also get some water here because I need to water these. Yes, I have filled them with just planting soil, and I put approximately, I would say, like 4 to 5 centimeters of soil. And this is for all the kale varieties that I will be sowing. I think I approximately have around 8-9 containers like this. And it's now January. And my intention is to plant out most of these kale varieties, except for like broccoli, by I would say like around 17th of May. Because last year I was kind of late on planting out all the kale, and they did not do as well. It took quite some time before they got like big. And the year before I was like planting out kale in May, and I had the best result. Like, they were really big plants, and I just think that that's what I will be doing again. Because kale, like green kale, Brussels sprouts, and I think cabbage, I will show you the seeds, they can kind of last in a little bit of minus degrees, which we have here towards the end of May. So number one that I'm going to sow, I just have same package, like 2 of these packages. So this is Brussels sprouts, sorry, I called it like this, Brussels sprouts, and I grew these last year, but I did not have any success with actually getting Brussels sprouts. But I think it was because I started these late, and I will kind of tell you a little bit what I will be doing different this year, but I will show you all the seeds first. So Brussels sprout is number 1. Number 2 is green kale, and this is something I really like to sow, and it do really well in my area. And the third variety is just normal broccoli. I also been having success growing this. And fourth is this variety, the Savoy kale. So Savoy kale, yeah. Honestly, this variety, they last year and the years before, they've been selling this in the fruit shops, but now in this year it has not been available. But it's like a winter green type of kale, so you start it early, and you can definitely harvest some of these late in the season as well. So Savoy kale. And then I also have I have cabbage here. This is like normal forms of cabbage that I'm also gonna sow. Now it says on the package that you can start these around March, but I just want to be ahead because I think potentially, you know, I can still plant these out kind of early. So I'm just gonna check here if it says anything. So yeah, I think it honestly is totally fine to start them now. Hopefully I can put them out in May. I also have this red cabbage, so 2 forms of cabbage. I never grew cabbage with success, but honestly I think this is my first time going to try grow cabbage. I don't know why I haven't done it before. I think it's mostly because I didn't think about it, you know, but it's something to grow. Also I'm gonna grow this variety. I very much like this one. It's available right now in the food shops here in my area. So I guess this is also like a, it says for example on the package that you can harvest this until December. So this is definitely like a winter type of cabbage. But you can start it in April if you're sowing indoor or outdoor, and then you can plant out in June. So it's kind of sensitive maybe to cold weather, but it can still last outdoor for entire autumn. And I think in my area it will not do that. So I need to start early to grow this in order for me to be able to harvest. Maybe hopefully in October, you know. And then I don't know, I also have this tatsoi that I want to kind of try grow, because I have been trying to grow this indoor, but it has not been successful anytime. So I don't know if it just get too cold soil, too wet and cold soil that they kind of die off with the root system, or what has been the problem. I also want to put one more container so that I in total have 3 containers like this with leek, because I think this is such a good staple to have. They are kind of expensive in my area as well to buy. They can cost up to 7 euros per kilo, so definitely, you know, still good to kind of grow, you know. So I need to water these containers. I need to get some water, and I will be back. So I got myself this is tap water. So honestly, something I will be doing differently this year when I grow in kale is that I will not put any extra nutritions to them before they are having like, I would say like 6 or 8 leaves on them. And I honestly been very successful growing any kind of kale in containers in the greenhouse, and they just been kind of adapted to the weather. Anytime I grew them indoor, I think one mistake I've been doing is that I'm adding this kind of nutrients early, and it doesn't work as well. I think sometimes I've been watering either too much when they have been in this type of container and haven't really been working. So I think this time I am not gonna add any nutrients, because they have a lot of soil here, and this soil is nutrient for at least a couple of weeks or months. I also have noticed that kale can still grow in like a little bit of soil, and I think one mistake I did last year, besides giving too much nutrients too early on, as well adding maybe too much soil at the start. And also I think one other mistake maybe was the kind of temperature in relation to light. And I also been repotting kale kind of early, and I have not been successful repotting them into individual pots, because they tend to dry out very easily and, you know, not really adapt very well. So anytime I've been growing kale in the greenhouse, just in a container like this, and leaving all the plants and seeds in there, they've been really getting to good sized plants, and I have not even had to repot them one time before I have planted them out in the freeland. So I think something I will do this year is to leave the kale in these pots or in these tray containers, kind of, you know, a lot of them. No, I'm gonna try not sow too many in a container, so that they will have a little bit space to actually grow. So potentially like, I would say like 10 in one of these containers, and leave them there for quite some time until they are like looking like plants. Then I'm gonna transfer them, if I need to, into individual pots before they will go outdoor on the freeland. And I'm also not gonna put any nutrients for probably for the first month of having them in these containers. So this is like a test to grow these indoor like this. I also going to put these, and I didn't have the option to do it last year. I'm also gonna put the kale in a room, like in a cold room that I have specifically. Last year it wasn't there because we built like a wall to create that room, but now I have that room and it's like cold. It's around 7 degrees in there, and that's where all the citrus trees lives. I will also put some olive trees in there, and I have some mulberry and pomegranate and lychee tree honestly in there. So I'm gonna keep the kale there from start in the type of lamp situation that I have going on there. And yeah, no nutrients, stay in the container for as long as possible, and to, you know, grow in a cold temperature, and not so much watering as well. Just, you know, very simple maintenance kale planting. I think I will start sowing, and then I'm gonna show you as well where I'm gonna put the containers, because today I made like a space for it, and I also cleaned and like disinfected the whole kind of areas in that room, so there's no pest to start with, you know. So I'm gonna start by Brussels sprout seeds. And obviously it's very important to have like which container will this be in. So I don't know if kale must sprout in like a temperature that is warm, but I'm just seriously going to allow these to be in cold, like 7 degrees from start. Because I think I will, if I see that they don't sprout, because for me any experience I had growing kale is that they sprout very easily, like within 3 days. I think that is enough, to be honest. Gonna not put more seeds. I mean, there's a lot of seeds in here, 500 in one bag. So that's enough with that container. I potentially will consider whether or not I will do 2 containers of Brussels sprouts, or if I'm gonna do 1 container. I also, after I placing the seeds in here, I will also use my pressure sprayer just to kind of make sure that the top layer of the seeds are kind of moist, just a little bit. And I will cover anytime with some form of plastic over. So I have, for example, this one, or I just take a plastic film that I have in the kitchen and cover, so that they start sprouting. And then eventually when I see the plants growing, I will remove the over top protection. In the second container here, I will do broccoli. So I'm gonna, I don't know what it says. It says also in Mars, but to be honest, I'm definitely will be doing 1 container before that, basically now. So I'm gonna try and plant these seeds very spacious in between. So last year I think I put around 40 seeds in 1 container, and that is a very difficult task to manage, because all the seeds honestly sprouted and I end up with so many small plants, and it was just impossible. So I think that is enough in this container as well. Put back remaining. I don't know if I will do 1 more container of broccoli, I will see. And then again, pressure sprayer, moistening the top layer here. I think I'm gonna take these now to where I will be keeping these, so I can show you what type of placement I will be growing these in. So I think I can place that. Oh dear. So in this room, I'm gonna flip around here. So right here is a table that I already have a few plants on. There is one kumquat, there is one mulberry bush, and they have a lamp here. And then I have one pomegranate over there. Pomegranate is something I want to have more trees of. And today I was cleaning in here. I was like disinfecting everything. And because I do not have this more trays like these, I kind of just going to use plastic, black, double layered black plastic on this table where I will be placing all these boxes. And I think it will be fine because I'm not gonna put too much water in these small plant, anytime soon. So here is honestly the start of a leek. I do not water that much because these plants do not like to get too much water at this stage. They just need to stay a little bit moist but kind of focus on growing. So I'm gonna take out and place here. Now I need to think, this is the Brussels sprout right over there, and this is the broccoli, and I will put over just for now the plastic lid here, and then I'm going to continue. Honestly, I will bring chamomile with me. I can show you, by the way. So in this room where I have all the citrus trees, I today have been disinfecting this plant, this like clementine plant that was not so happy because you can see it lost a lot of leaves. However, there is a lot of small flower buds coming on this. So I've been disinfecting this one with tea sprit mixed together with a soap, and used these Q-tips to kind of wipe down every part of this plant. And yeah, and now it's kind of in a quarantine here, so I keep check on if there is, how it will be recovering from losing this part here. So this one is probably under stress now because I removed it from its original placement, but let's see. And over here I also did some wipe down with tea sprit and disinfect some of the leaves of the grape because it has a lot of flowers that can attract some pesticides, and these smell incredible, by the way. And I keep some foliage underneath, so in case some flower petals fall, they will fall on that. And then the citrus tree that lost all kinds of leaves here is recovering, which I'm very happy for. And then this plant, this is the lychee. I think I will have to repot that one kind of soon into some sand. So over here I will show you the progress of chamomile. It's not looking that much, but it is starting, and I've been very successful growing this any previous year, so I think it's gonna be a success this year as well. I did remove the plastic over here because it's very moist soil and it's kind of cold temperature in here, so I want to make sure that it doesn't kill the plants, And in here I have cicoria and lavender. The lavender probably have not started, but as you can see there is cicoria starting. And I let these grow in here because it's kind of cold temperature, and I think they will do fine. And then in here I got some pansies. And I know these are starting more if there is warmer temperature, but as far as I saw, they have actually starting to sprout, so I'm just gonna keep them in there and hope that they will get more hardy. So let's get back. Sorry, it's kind of dark because it's a long corridor. So let's get back to sowing all these varieties that I have over here. I think it's a good idea to honestly get going sowing early, so that you don't have all plants like that you miss something, especially if you're gonna grow a lot, because I'm gonna grow a lot of plants this year. So I'm watering, and I think I need to flatten the surface a bit here. So, okay. So I done broccoli, I done Brussels sprouts. Now I think I'm going to do let's do the green kale. This is one of my favorites to grow. And you're gonna see, yeah, there's a lot of seeds in here. So again, I try and spread them out, I would say like up to 3 centimeters from each other. Some might end up 1 centimeter from each other, but I try and spread them out so that I'm not gonna end up with millions of plants because that's just very, very difficult to handle. So I think that will be enough. I don't put so many because I hope to keep these in the container for quite some time. So I'm just gonna water a little bit. And then, how many containers do I got left? 1. Oh, that one is empty. 2, 3, 4. And I got, okay, so next I will be doing this cauliflower in this container. I thought I had one more container filled with soil, but I missed that. So I'm gonna do this one in the other container. I mean, you can, I will probably do more kale later, like for example in March, I might put another batch of kale if I can find more containers like this. So I definitely do not think this is the only batch I will be doing. As well, you can see I don't have a white cauliflower, and that might be something I also want to grow. So I probably will try grow more seeds of this. So if I just can get my hands on more of these containers, I will do so. Okay, I think that is enough. I'm very sparsely this year in terms of how many seeds I put in these containers when it concerns kale, because I do not want to have to repot them very soon. I think I want to leave them in here for at least 2 months. So it will be February, March, and maybe in April I will maybe take out the whole root cluster with all the plants, maybe just add more soil to the bottom. So that was that one. Now I got left here the cabbage and I will put these down here. Maybe I'm just going to keep the seeds next to these, so I know what I put in those. I need to write also what all these are. Just gonna flatten these a bit. This one have a lot of soil in, so I think I will do maybe cabbage, or I will maybe do Savoy kale, so I don't have to repot this one anytime soon. Seeds. Oh, I have to water as well here. Forgot. And obviously, once I have planted, I do not want to have to water these containers for quite some time until the plants are kind of, I mean, when I say water, I will be using this one the pressure sprayer, but not like pour actual water just over here. So I'm sowing the Savoy kale. I hope this will be a successful kind of plant here. I think that will definitely be enough of that. But let me see. Might put a few more of this. We will see how many it's gonna take off. I'm gonna try and mark out what all these varieties are, because I do have some intentions of where I must grow them, depending on what variety it is. I will put this one down here. And just oh, Jesus. Okay, sometimes this pressure canner gets stuck, you know. So I do not have water in the... If I should get more water, maybe because I do have more containers here. But I think it will be fine, to be honest. I will just add some of this. So now I have the cabbage that I'm gonna be using. The white cabbage and the red cabbage, and I got 2 individual containers for them here. So let's start with red cabbage. Just this one. I tend to like to shake just on the top, because sometimes some of the seeds are stuck here in the lining of the package. So we will see here. Then I just planting these seeds here. Try and keep them spread out, as I mentioned. And obviously I will see also how these sprout. I think this red cabbage is a bit... it may not have super good rate of how many seeds will sprout. So, but we will see. And then I got the white kale. So I have not even planned exactly where in the garden I'm gonna plant each individual kind of variety. Sometimes I like to not even have all the, for example, broccoli in one place. I like to put some broccoli here and some broccoli there. But I do try, when it terms of like having plants out in the garden, to not have the same variety in the same place year after year. So I try to give the soil a little bit rest from one year to another when it concerns the same form of variety. And that can be a bit difficult if you, for example, have a lot of kale type varieties, because they are kind of the same variety, even if they are different, like cabbage, Brusselsprouts and stuff. So I mean, it's much easier to grow like all cabbages and stuff, like all the kale varieties, like for me at least, in one part of the garden, and then the next year just move that to another part, because then I know for sure that the soil in the other part of the garden has not been exhausted by kale previous year. But I still like to kind of also, you know, put a little bit here, put a little bit there, but it makes it a lot more difficult to know if I, for example, last year grew kale in one place or if I did not. Because there is a risk to kind of exhaust the soil if you're growing the same variety every year in the same place. I would not recommend that. So, okay, so now I have done, cabbage, red and white. And I got one more container left here. And I also want to show that I put quite a lot of holes at the bottom. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, a lot of holes in the bottom anytime I grow in seeds. Some of these containers doesn't have so very good plastic, so they will kind of break. So, okay, now this final red container is quite good when they are in different colors, because then I can sort of easier know what it is I have in each. In this last container, I'm gonna put a mix of these two leek varieties. As I show you, I have two containers with quite a lot of leek in them, but I will also make one more container, because I have noticed that in 1 week, if I would kind of just think about how much leek honestly do I eat, I would probably say I could eat 1 leek at least per week in terms of what, if I would prepare food. So I also just made sure that I flatten the surface. And again, I don't use any sowing soil, I just use planting soil. And I also, when it concerns kale and leek, I do not cover the seeds because they are so tiny and they just enjoy, as far as I'm concerned, to start without any covering. And also I don't buy vermiculites and stuff, because in my opinion it's kind of expensive, you know, to buy that. And I don't either know, because when I do compost, when I empty these containers and there's a lot of vermiculites and stuff going out in the nature, I don't know if that is good or not. I really don't know. So I'm just like, I just do this. It's very simple. And also what I also like with this method is that I can see exactly if the seeds are sprouting or not, and then I can kind of, if I see that there's one patch in the container where there's no seeds that are sprouting, I can kind of just add in more seeds there. I don't do any preparation either of the seeds when it concerns kale or leek. Like I don't have to fix them in any way to actually sow them. So I can very easily just, you know, go ahead and sow them. And now I honestly remember that yesterday I put a mug with passion fruit seeds, and I still have them in that mug. So I think I must also sow them somewhere today. So anyway, I think that is enough with leek seeds in this one. So I'm gonna now put away all these containers to this placement which I show you, and they will stay there, and I'm not going to water them for at least a couple of weeks. I will only use water in form of like pressure canning a little bit to keep them moist, but not water them, because I have very well watered them at the start. And I'm gonna keep them at 7 degrees. I know that some people will probably think it's not a good idea, like that you should start them at 20 degrees or something, but for me I will try it, because I think they will be more strong plants, you know. And then I'm going to cover the lids with plastic foil, and I will also, you know, I keep the daylight lamp that I have in that room on for approximately 10 to 14 hours per day, so they will get some light as well. And I will not add any nutrients to kale or leek for at least 1 month or even longer. And also I will see at what point I must repot these, but I will try and grow them in here for as long as possible, to be honest. So yes, the all the kale varieties are started, and I'm very happy that you know, I took the time for it. And now I just need to either repot them or make sure that they continue to grow, and before, I would say until May, so they got like from now end of January, like February, March, April, approximately 3.5 months before I'm gonna plant them out. But I think, you know, that will make sure that there are some form of plants to actually grow and plant out. So yes,